My sisters, I want to let you know that I'm feeling you. Poets get up here and talk about your pain. Y'all start snapping and clapping and going insane. I want to let you know that I'm feeling you. I get it. I got it. And I want to apologize for saying this, but some of y'all need to stop it. Y'all need to stop it with all of the passion and the head snapping and the venomous rage. Talking bad about your ex-man and you want to bash and offend him on stage. My question is, what did this man do to you? Put a gun to your head and force you to lay on your back and crack open your legs? Is that why you gave him some ass? Is that why you gave him some head? Or was the real reason you gave it up so fast that you thought that he was getting some bread? Come on, you all say the same thing. He took advantage of me. Well, what else can you say at this point? But honestly and objectively, I'm going to tell you how I'm seeing things from my vantage point. I'm a brother. I grew up right alongside of you, but for you, I was never quite good enough. I lived in the same hood as you and some of these dudes, but somehow for you, I was never quite hood enough. See, back then, you wanted a man that had his waves and his rims spinning. He had to have whips and chips and pop Chris, and you used to brag about how your baby was big pimping. And based on these important criteria is how a lot of y'all made y'all decisions. See, back then, a brother like me was making minimum wage. I ain't have no whips, no chips. I wore my do-rag every day because I was trying to develop some waves. But see, I couldn't afford no Chris. I couldn't afford no ice. Maybe I could afford some of this stuff if I had a nickel for every time a chick told me that I was too nice. Like, you too nice. I need a real man that can handle me. Why? So he can get you real jaded, get you real impregnated. Then 10 years later, you're going to hand it to me? I'm not interested. You don't need to be ashamed that you got knocked up and then he left you and you end up being somebody's baby mama. But my name is James. I represent the Nice Guy Coalition and I'm not interested in your drama because I did not cause your problems. I never bust a nut in you, so I'm not the one that should have to deal with all your unresolved and untreated men issues. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I've really had enough of all these schizophrenic wannabe nice girls who go out there and get with a thug and then be like, you know, sometimes I like it rough and I don't smoke, but sometimes I take a puff, and I don't drink, but I sip on what you sipping, and I don't usually do it this way, but it'll be okay if you just slip the tip in. Slip the tip in. Don't you know that's where the baby come from? You just fell for the oldest trick in the book, so maybe you the dumb one. Trust me, he knew enough biology to know where babies come from, and he know who has to carry them. He knew enough about our society to know you can get as many women pregnant as you want to, and you don't never have to marry them. So I know you like to vent. You really need to stop. Did you really think you were going to get 17% of what he gets slinging rocks on the block? Come on, stop fronting. You know what the man was and what he wasn't. Still, you the one in the club singing songs like, even though he thuggin', I love him and I need a soldier. He gotta be street. He gotta be holding big things, if you know what I mean. It's a dumbass song. Now you want a man holding a college degree, good credit, and a record with no bids. But check it, most of the men that have that stuff want a woman with no kids. You should have thought about this before you supported the messages behind those misogynist lyrics and thought about how they could affect our young ladies with negative images that subconsciously barrage in their spirits. Sort of like a mirage is an image that you can see but it's not real. Sort of like the black families that we see on TV but we don't ever take the time to build. So ladies, let me give you this example and let me see if y'all understand how I feel. Let's say I wanted to walk up in your house and take all your jewelry. You'd be like, no, you shouldn't do that. That's illegal. That's against the law. But because I shouldn't do it, because it's illegal, would that keep you from protecting yourself by putting at least 2 or 3 locks on your doors? Maybe some of y'all need to think about keeping a lock on your panties and your drawers. Or if you're going to hand it to a man, do not let him pop in it raw. And I'm not going to try to sit here and say that it's not also partly our fault, but it's kind of true what they say about some men. They'll stick their thing in anything that walks. That's why God gave you a mouth to talk. You could say no. That's called free will. Or at least you could walk down the road to the clinic and get some condoms or some birth control pills. Too many women have no real father figure, and that's what they expect these real men to be. The only problem is they don't realize they end up sleeping on the real enemy, and that enemy that you're sleeping on is your own low self-esteem. That's what makes you want to give yourself to a grown man when you're still, 17 or 18? And then y'all all say the same thing. We can handle it because we mature faster. But that's the reason why so many children in our culture end up being called bastards. And I was called a bastard because I grew up without my father in the house. And when you're a man being raised by a woman, trust me, it's hard to figure some of this stuff out. Especially since some of you women, when it comes to hating on men, must have earned a PhD. But then your psychology works in reverse because your son grows up and does the same damn thing.